Hi guys, this is my sister Andrea. She is going to teach us one of my favorite treats ever, especially this time of the year, Christmas time, is sugar plum. She has the original recipe, right Andrea? And it is really truly delicious. You guys are going to love it. So she is going to explain how to make it now.
Alright, we're going to make traditional English sugar plums today. And they're a good Christmas snack, but they're also relatively healthy when we have so much sugar at this time of year. We're going to use apricots, prunes, and figs. They've all been dried. And we're also going to use almonds. You're going to combine these ingredients in the food processor and chop them until they're finely combined. Start with the almonds. If you start with the dried fruit first, they'll get stuck in the blades of the food processor and it makes it very difficult to get the almonds to chop. So we always start with the almonds first. I don't measure. You just try to add equal amounts of each ingredient. I'm going to chop these up a little bit before I add my fruit so I can make sure my almonds aren't in huge pieces. Once my almonds are finely chopped, I can add my dried fruits. Occasionally on dried figs, you'll get a little stem which stays rather hard. So if you see one with a stem, it's best to pull it off. Most of them have the stems taken off, but sometimes you'll see one. So keep your eyes open. Now we're going to add our spices and seasonings. What we have is we have cardamom, we have aniseed, and we have fennel. I've already toasted the fennel. It makes the flavor milder, gives it more of a nutty flavor so it's not an overpowering licorice flavor, because we do have the licorice from the aniseed. Because fennel and aniseed have such a strong flavor, I like to put them in my mortar and grind them up with my pestle, just because they're too strong on their own. If someone bites into one, they're going to get a very, very strong experience, so you want to grind them up so they're a little bit finer. And it's just 1/4 teaspoon of each. Since my cardamom is already ground, I'm not going to worry about that. In addition to that, I'm also going to add my cardamom, and I like to add a touch of cinnamon. It's not traditional. In Old England they would not have had cinnamon, it would have been very expensive from the East. But I like to add it just because it has such a Christmas flavor for me. And we put our spices directly in with our nuts and fruit. You can also add a pinch of salt. It doesn't really need it, but it does enhance the flavors a little bit. And then we're just going to pulse it together until it's mixed.
Yeah.
Alright. Now what I've got my blended fruits and nuts and spices. I'm going to add to that some honey. I just want to add enough that it sticks it together in balls. It sticks together fairly well anyway, so you don't have to add a lot. About a tablespoon is plenty. It's just to help it hold together. The honey and the fruit sugars are really the only sugar in this, other than the sugar you roll it in on the outside. So most of the sugars are natural sugars, which makes me feel a little bit better about eating it than I do fudge and other goodies this time of year. Okay. Now because of the chopped up fruit and because of the honey, This is very, very sticky. We need to roll it into balls. The best way to do that is to make sure your hands are good and cold. Sugar plums will stick to your hands mercilessly unless they are cold. So you need to make sure your hands are cold before you do it, which can be a little bit uncomfortable. So I have a bowl of cold water that I can dip my hands in. And I have my sugar ready. This is raw sugar. It's got thicker grains than processed sugar. You can find it at most health food stores. Most grocery stores carry it now too. Oh, that's cold. And I'm just going to dab them dry. They don't have to be very dry. And then I'm going to take small balls and I'm going to roll them. And then I just drop them in the sugar. Try to keep them all the same size. They don't have to be perfect. That's what makes it homemade. When it starts sticking to your hands, then you know your hands have warmed up and you need to dip them in the water again. You roll the sugar plums around, get them coated with sugar, and there they are. Most people are surprised by the flavor of sugar plums. It's not what they were expecting, especially when we're so used to refined sweets and sugars. But they're actually quite addictive, so make sure you make enough. They go pretty fast, especially if my sisters are around.
They are really wonderful. Thank you for watching.